And welcome back, everyone, to the Chopping Block. My name is Andrew Hefner, alongside my co host Dylan Shaw. Another rough week for Rutgers football. Head out to Washington for their third Big Ten game and walk away with a pretty big 38-19 loss, dropping them back to 500 on the season at 3-3, and they remain winless in Big Ten play. Dylan, definitely a rough watch. I would say that I definitely had some hope entering this game, especially as they kicked off with a pretty strong offensive drive led by Athan Kaliakmanis, but then the team really fell apart from there. Let's get your overall thoughts, and then we'll kind of dive into some of the big mistakes and really atrocities that we saw out there in Seattle last night.
So what is this for the seventh podcast we filmed? Maybe I think right for right seventh podcast we filmed. And I think every single one we filmed, I've mentioned the defense as one of like the reason we lose. And I would want to change it up. Like maybe provide a different opinion, like blame the offense, blame someone. No, it's just the defense. It's Rob Smith. It's the DBs. It's they're cones. Just put cones out there on the field. Replace the DBs with cones, same result. It's not gonna make a difference. Every corner, every safety we have, they can't they the miscommunications, they can't like stay on their guide. 2 times they tripped and they let a big play. I think it was 10-7 maybe. Maybe I don't know what's time, but there this freshman receiver. First of all, there are 2 freshmen from Arizona, right? Like they were cooking us all game. It was like a 50-yard passing play after Bo Masco just slipped. It makes no sense how you slip. And then Al-Shadi Salam just can't guard anyone. Every amount of times he's mostly put in like the short yardage situation. So like you don't hear his name getting burned on like a 50-yard passing play or like a down the field. That's more in the hands of like Jacoby Henderson. But his name's always being called as a tackler on a 10-yard play. And you go to the box score, a few tackles, that's good. No, not in this case. He's making tackles where he gets it's one little cut by the receiver from Washington. He's open for like a 10-yard pass play every time. He's just he they're such bad DBs. I don't even know how to explain it. They're just awful. And then I'd actually want to say this is the first time I think that the D line has actually generated some pass rush. And it was actually surprising. In the first half, where we got like maybe 3 or 4 stops. I think it was like 3 punts and like 1 fumble. Or that was yeah, whatever. 1 fumble. And every time it was like, okay, the D line's batting some balls down. The D line's forcing Demond Williams to get out the pocket. The D line's like actually like making the throws like and getting in Demond Williams' face, making the throws harder than it would be. And it's like, okay, they figured it out. Off the bye week, they figured things out. And you got up to a 10-0 lead. It could have been 13-0 if it wasn't for a missed field goal. It could have been 13-3 if Washington made the field goal. But the defense was getting stops, and you kind of felt like, all right, this is gonna be like a game where it's not gonna be like where they're gonna give up 30. And then what do you happen? In the second quarter, Washington's offense figured it out. Demond Williams led 3 really good drives, 2 for points, and they got back in this game. But like you looked at it, it was 13-10 going into the second half. They get ball to start. We need to stop. We need to score, and we're fine. We have trust in this offense. And then the offense had their like second half woes. Their second half, like we're gonna score 1 touchdown in the second half, and then the rest we're just not gonna do anything. Happening against Minnesota, happening against Iowa, happening against Washington. In each of these 3 games, I believe that the offense has only scored in the range of 7 to 10 points, or actually six, because yesterday we went for two. 6 to 10 points in the second half. Unbelievable. I mean, how can you go from dropping on average 13 to 21 points in the first half, looking like a spectacular offense, and then just letting the foot off the pedal, losing your rhythm, getting figured out by the defense? I don't know what's the cause of it, but Kaliakmanis looks like he's a freshman quarterback in the second half, and it doesn't help when your defense can't get stops. So
Right.
this was by far the worst game that the team has played all season, both sides of the ball, special teams as well. And I don't I always like say, all right, there's an easy fix here. There isn't an easy fix anymore. Because the defense is clearly showing they're not going to show any signs of improvement. And if the offense is not going to be like an NFL offense every week, I don't understand how this team's going to win a game. I don't see it. I see a 3-9 season at this point because losing by 19 to Washington, where they could have scored more on us, it's not good.
Yeah. And something interesting that the broadcast mentioned after Washington started to come back in that second half was, you know, Rutgers, their first couple drives, they maybe did some plays or had some reads that Washington wasn't necessarily able to see on their film study and stuff like that. But as soon as that kind of surprise and like that really ran out for Shiano, there was no play calls that were surprising to Washington. Their defense was reading us perfectly. Then our defense fell apart, and Washington was able to, of course, take advantage. And you mentioned their very, very strong quarterback and young wide receiver room. And I mean, yeah, I think that this was a game that really had a lot of potential to be a great win for Rutgers if they were able to hold on. And really, I think they were, but we keep entering the second half. You mentioned it in the article that you wrote on GardenStateSports.net that their second half, we agreed that it's only 4 touchdowns or something like that in Big Ten play in the second
I think
half.
it's only 3, I
3.
think.
It's 3 touchdowns in the second half in 3 games of Big Ten play. And you're also looking at how many points they've also put up over that time. That is a ridiculous number. And it's bad because then if the defense is falling apart at the same time and you're not scoring points back, you're going to lose these games every single time. And especially now going into Oregon with them coming home, it's going to be a mess this weekend, really. And I don't know what Rutgers can do in practice this week to possibly have a chance of not having the most embarrassing loss that they've had in years, maybe.
Yeah, it's just like going to the game, you knew Jonah Coleman, most touchdowns or something in the FBS. Like, you got to hold him. If you hold him to like low yardages, you have a chance in this game. That was kind of my thoughts going into it. Like, I was like, okay, limit the rushing yards, limit the big plays, and you have a good chance. They're going to put up points, but they're not a stellar offense. They aren't. And then Damon Williams throws for 402 yards and rushes for 136 yards and 2 touchdowns. 4 total touchdowns and like almost 600 all-purpose yards. That's unbelievable. Jonah Coleman only had 44 yards on 14 carries. We really limited the running backs. But then when the linebackers, the amount of times where it'd be like one of these like option plays for Damon Williams, and he had both options. That's never a good look. There was maybe I counted like 5 to 6 times where he would roll out with the option of running or passing. And if you have the option of running and passing and you can do both, it's not good. I mean, the DB, he passed most of the time because the DBs were just not even in the vicinity of the receivers, but the linebackers weren't there, like spying on Damon Williams, and it just felt like he had like control of our defense. He was just in control of the game. He had everything he wanted. Everything he wanted to do was working, and it makes zero sense because when it's an option play, you should at least have one of them covered, and it was none of them. And it's like I don't even. I'm not like a defensive minded guy. I don't really know like how to like fix that. But like you've been through countless weeks of running quarterbacks of like all 3 we've played can run the ball, and it's like you can't figure it out. It makes no sense. This one was the worst. Damon Williams goes for 136 yards. It's unacceptable, honestly.
Yeah. And I do want to talk about one specific play that I know you have a strong opinion about, and you should. Fourth down in the red zone with pretty much their really final chance to kind of start the comeback and get that going as time is running out in the fourth quarter. And Kaliakmanis decides to throw a check down, and they maybe get 5 yards, and yeah, that's the end of the drive, and Washington gets the ball back. They can march right back down and kind of seal the game out for the Huskies. What do you think could have possibly been the thought process behind, one, maybe just going for a field goal there to kind of get back within one score and then going for it later, and then also then Kaliakmanis knowing what's at stake here, and then throwing a check down?
This was actually just a series of events that poor coaching. Like they took a 24-13 lead, and like we score in 2 plays. Amazing throw, amazing run after catch by Raymond. Take it to the house. You're back in this. You're gonna be down 4. But instead of just taking the extra point, Sciano became greedy and decided to go for 2 to make it a 3-point game. Mind you, this is 10 minutes to go in the third quarter. There's no need to go for 2. You're not in a desperate state yet, and you went for 2. You didn't get it. And then then obviously back to the fourth down play. 3rd and 10, it was like an overthrow, like a little high for a strong, right? You gotta have to go for fourth down now because it was 19 to 19 to 20 or 19 to 30 something or 19 to 31. And instead of it being 31 to 20, where a field goal would get you to one score, a field goal still gets you to two scores. And it kind of felt like the defense was not going to get you a stop always. So you kind of have to convert as much as you can. And I like the decision goal for it, but checking it down, I'd rather you give Ian Strong, KJ Duff, or DT Sheffield a shot at the ball. Just give them a shot. They're such good playmakers instead of checking it down to Raymond, where obviously he got 9 yards, it's like closer than it seems. But the Huskies are just playing defense at the sticks. They're obviously going to make it. They're going to come together and make a tackle 1 yard short because they're playing on the sticks. They're not playing 5 yards back.
Right.
So I think it's a series of events that just led up to it, where you kind of were forced to go for it, even though if you just kicked the extra point, it would have been an 8-point game. And it's like I don't understand why Seattle got greedy so early in the third quarter.
Yeah. I mean, it's just really, really a rough kind of turn of events there. You're already seeing the team collapse in front of you, and then just not smart coaching decisions. Like we were really praising Shiano in the first couple of games for um, his, I guess, boldness and how much he was going for it on fourth down and stuff like that. And it was really great. It was working because Kaliakmanis was getting good reads on those fourth downs. He was handing it off to his two-star running backs that could get the final couple of yards. But that was just a ridiculous play that doesn't make any sense. And you're right, the 2-point conversion earlier on, that was rough as well. So yeah, I mean, now we're combining problems that we didn't have in the first couple weeks of the season, and now it seems like the new problems are just adding on as the opponents get better and stuff like that. So, listen, 3 more wins needed to be potentially bowl eligible. Do you think that they have a shot at that still?
No, I'm gonna say it clear now. As much as I just know this offense can win a game, I know it can. I think it can single-handedly win a game for us. I don't think it's gonna happen. The most winnable games you have left in your schedule is Purdue, Maryland, maybe throwing in Illinois. I don't. It's not winnable, but like with what we have on our schedule, it's what you consider winnable at this point. Because Penn State, I know they're 3-2 with the loss to UCLA. I don't see it being winnable. And Ohio State and Oregon are just almost like we've already canceled those games out. It's like, all right, we're already 3-5 right now because we know those are losses. So you're gonna have to manage to win one big game this year, and then still make sure you don't lose a game to Purdue or Maryland. I don't see it. I don't see it at all, and it's like pretty upsetting because this is the best offense we've had in the longest time, but the worst defense we've had in a long time. Like this is a defense that should be part of the Chris Atch era of Rutgers football, where we would go 1-11, 2-10, and lose 78-0 to Michigan. Not the era where we are coming off 2 back-to-back bowl seasons and the expectations are through the roof. That's not what I expected, but it's what we're in. And I think this is going to be a year where Rob Smith gets fired for like the 50,000th time in Rutgers history. Why do we keep hiring him? He's clearly not good.
Yep.
So we're going to fire him again. Hopefully, hire a new guy, fix this defense because next year we're going to have a freshman quarter or redshirt sophomore quarterback. AJ Serace will probably start. KJ Duff, if he doesn't transfer, will be our receiver one. I mean, you don't know like when you're having a down year, so many things can happen negatively. Like nothing good happens from a down year. You don't just all right next year. You lose players, you lose coaches, you lose you lose like team spirit in itself. And yeah, I don't see this turning around anytime soon. So like that's at risk. Antoine Raymond is at risk of leaving. I don't know what the culture is. I know it's a great culture. I don't know, but what like if Raymond has some like connection to the school that he won't leave. But like these players are so good, someone's gonna throw a bag on them. And if that school is like a powerhouse, power four team, they're gonna go. They're not gonna stay like a 4-8 Rutgers team or a 5-7 Rutgers team.
Yeah. What do you think's going to be bigger, the UCLA Big Ten comeback or the Rutgers one?
Hey, hey, if we go 9-3, we're making the playoffs.
Oh, 100%.
UCLA goes 8-4, they're not making the playoffs. So technically we still have the odds to make it. So
Yeah.
it will be the greatest comeback in Big Ten history, season wise. But yeah, you need to figure it out on this. I didn't mention his special teams. Jay Patel, who he has something going on in his kicks. So I don't know what's happening.
Oh,
That
yeah.
45 yarder is needs to be a gimme in this day of age of college football. It's
I
not
Yeah. I
1990s.
also want to point out that on one of the earlier attempts, they had one of the things that killed us last week is they had another penalty, or not last week, 2 weeks ago now. They had another
Hmm.
penalty on the first kick attempt, um, and then he ended up having to kick it again, which this time he made it. But a couple weeks ago against Minnesota, that was not the same. So um, I'm not sure what's going on there with special teams and kicking, but that needs to be figured out if we're not going to score touchdowns.
Yeah, that might have been like the fourth penalty on like the special teams like kicking unit. Like that needs to be
Yeah,
fixed because 30 yards to 35 yards may not seem like a lot, but to a kicker, also just like the mental side of it, it kind of gets in your head like now
yeah.
I'm kicking again. I just made the practice kick, but like now I gotta be pushed back 5 yards. It does something too. It's like icing the kicker, but your team's doing it.
And I
And
mean,
then one more thing,
yeah,
I don't know if you saw this, but like there was 3 to 4 times throughout the game where the O line would just get bullied and either Kaliakmanis has to take a sack or the D line would just get their hands up and bat the ball down. And it happened
yeah,
importantly on 4th and 3 down on the Washington 6 yard line when we were up. Was it 10-7? Yeah, I think it was 10-7. That was important. And because Antoine Raymond was like a little slip, like a little halfback like slip to the flat on 4th and 3, and he was wide open. That was a touchdown, probably, at least a conversion, but definitely probably a touchdown, which would have given us a 10-point lead and all the momentum on our side. But it was batted down the line of scrimmage, and I don't know if that was Ethan's fault for like not like throwing it around the defender, but like it's most likely the O lineman just getting pushed around too much, and then the defensive lineman just gets their hands up because
yeah.
they're not really being blocked. So I don't know. That needs to be fixed as well. There's way more fixes needed than good things happening. So that can never be a good sign.
Yeah, I mean, it's a rough watch overall. And I will say, early in the game, the defensive line was doing a pretty good job. There was pretty much pressure on every play, a couple sacks early on, which really were making a difference. But then that just fell through. Um, so there's clearly potential. Like we know these guys that transferred in or were here the last couple of years for those bowl seasons have the potential to be great, especially on this defensive side. And it's just rough. It's a rough watch every week.
Yeah, first 3 possessions for Washington, you felt like, all right, this is changing. Like we're gonna get some stops today.
Yeah,
2 punts, 1 missed field goal, and then they figured it out. Like I don't know if the defense didn't adjust or if the defense was just like getting tired or something. But mid second quarter, they were throwing the ball all over us. I mentioned in the article, but 14 yards per pass, 21 of 27 for Demond Williams. So 21 passes yesterday completed, and each one went over practically like average over 14 yards. That's not good. And Athan Kaliakmanis, on the other hand, 31 of 50.
yeah,
That's a 19-6 completion difference or incompletion difference. So it's clearly showing that like I don't know if it's receiver separation and it's a DB's fault, but
yeah.
we were outmatched for sure. We were outmatched. We were not. Washington was more prepared for us, which should not happen because we were on a bye week. They were on a short week. Yeah, it's just nothing actually went well for the team yesterday.
And I feel bad for you because um, you're also a Jets fan and you're watching that team
And a
um,
Yankees fan.
and Yankees, but more so football. Like football season is supposed to be a great time for everyone, but so far, if you're a
Hasn't
Rutgers
been
and
a
Jets,
hasn't been a good
yeah,
time for me for a long time.
if you're a Rutgers and Jets fan in New Jersey, which I know that there's plenty of those, it's been a rough so far for you? I mean, I'm a Giants fan, so like I can't be too like excited with. Well, I guess I could be excited with what's going on, but
Hey,
we're
at
not
least you've
we're not
seen
we're not going
multiple
anywhere.
playoff games and you've seen playoff wins. I've never seen a playoff game on TV in my life. The last time they played a playoff game was in January of 2010, and like I just haven't actually been able to physically watch a game.
Yeah, I mean, I don't
Eh,
remember the Giants Super Bowl, but we did win against the Vikings a couple years ago when Darius Slayton almost sold the game. But besides that, that's kind of it.
but there's not even one like I don't there's no games that I can actually remember. Like they haven't played a game since 2010. Like I don't remember anything like
Yeah,
I wasn't even alive for all that.
yeah. Well,
So football
you
season is like a lot of anticipation every year for both teams with like these fan bases like love like the fan bases that never actually experience success tend to get the most excited preseason. Like Rutgers fans, ooh, the preseason, the excitement was through the roof. Like it was like, oh, this is gonna be our best team in like a decade. Oh, this, that. And then Jets like, oh, Justin Fields is gonna turn it around for us. Oh, this is like we're a sneaky 9-8 playoff team. No, we're not. We're a sneaky 1-16 number one seed team, number one pick team. So yeah,
yeah.
I guess we're looking forward to September of 2026.
Yeah, well, hey, basketball season's about a month away now, so we'll be getting a lot of coverage here as well. I know that's not really something you want to hear either,
But maybe like
considering.
the reverse psychology, like
Yeah,
we're not excited for basketball season, and they're gonna
yeah,
actually perform well. Because like last year, Dylan Harper and Ace Bailey. Oh yeah, no, honestly, we actually have it the worst. Rutgers fans. Dylan Harper and Ace Bailey, the excitement through every game is sold out, and then we don't even get a winning record. So maybe like keep the expectations low. Just know we're gonna be bad, and then they'll turn it around and somehow be good. So
yeah,
we're gonna go with that.
yeah. Well, that's pretty much going to do it for the chopping block game recap. Washington and Rutgers, they dropped to 3-3, 500 on the season with Oregon week approaching. I know that that's going to be a big one here. I'm not sure what the stadium is really going to look like this weekend. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of
Mhm.
people just kind of out there to see Oregon, but
It was good. This is one of the games on my bucket list. I was like going in. I was like, okay, 6-1, best case scenario. Or would that work? No. Yeah, no, no. 5-1, best case scenario. 4-2, maybe. 6-0, I'm going to the game. And I was like, and now I'm like, nah, we're not going. It's like, what's the point?
yeah, well, we'll see you guys all next week. Make sure you check out Dylan's recap article with some other opinions of his and kind of the full quarter by quarter recap on GardenStateSports.net. Thank you, everyone, so much for listening. And we will see you hopefully for probably one of the biggest upsets of this year's college football. Crossing our fingers about a week from today.